All right, guys, so today we are going to review multiplying fractions. So some of you guys may remember this, some of you guys may not, which is okay. We have a few questions that we're going to go over, and then after that, you're going to do 2 assignments for me, and then I'll go over the next part. So the first things first, you do really need a sheet of paper or a notebook so you can take notes from this. It is going to stop the video every so often, so if you guys can complete a problem, you have to answer the questions, and then as you go through, at the end, it's going to ask you to submit so you can go on to the next 2 assignments. Okay, so the first example that we're going to do is going to be 1/5, and we're going to multiply that by 3/4. So when we're multiplying fractions like this, we're going to multiply straight across. So in here, we're going to do 1 times 3, those are our numerators, and we're going to get 3. And then 5 times 4, we're going to multiply straight across, and we're going to get 20. So the final answer that I'm going to get is going to be 3/20. Okay, so the example that I want you to do is going to be 2/5 times 1/3. All right, so you guys have the video paused. You guys go ahead and did this on your sheet of paper. So this one right here, 2 times 1 will be 2, and then 5 times 3 will be 15. And you guys can pause the video, excuse me, or you can rewind it so that you guys can slow it down, take some notes, whatever you need to go ahead and to understand just multiplying fractions. Remember that I'm still in the class, so if you have any questions, you can always come back and ask me, okay? The next part that we're going to go ahead and review is going to be when we multiply fractions, but one of them is going to be a mixed number. So for instance, I'm going to change the color here as well. So here we go. This is going to be 2 1/3 times 4/5. Now, since I am multiplying these, I am going to multiply straight across. However, we do have a problem with 2 1/3. I need to turn 2 1/3 into an improper fraction. Now remember the way that we did this, we reviewed this last time, where we're going to multiply our denominator and a whole number. So 3 times 2 will get me 6, and then I'm going to add the numerator. So my new fraction will be 7/3, and I'm still multiplying it to 4/5. Right? So then I'm going to multiply straight through. So 7 times 4 is going to be 28, and 3 times 5 is going to be 15. So here all we did was turn this into an improper fraction. We got 7/3, and then we multiplied straight across. Now, there's a couple different cases that you're going to see. One of them, they may tell you it's okay to leave it as an improper fraction, as 28/15. But sometimes that's not going to be the case. Sometimes they're going to ask you, okay, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to switch this into a mixed number. So remember, the way we do that is through division. So when I divide here, inside of my box is going to be 28. And on the outside, I'm going to have 15. And I know that 15 goes into 28 one time. And I'm going to subtract. I'm going to get 15 right here. And when I do that, 8 minus 5 is going to be 3. And 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. So this right here, remember, is my whole number. And then I'm going to go in that giant circle where the remainder is going to be my numerator. And this number, that 15, is going to be my denominator. So now, if they ask me to turn the improper fraction into a mixed number, I'm going to get 1 and 13/15. Okay? All right. So the one that I want you to use so that you can practice, and the video will stop, will be 3 1/4 times 1/2. So I want you guys to solve this one. Okay. So for here, we're going to go ahead and review this. 3 1/4, I know I have to switch into a improper fraction. So if I look here, 3 times 4 is going to get me 12. And if I add 1, that's going to get me 13. So now I have 13/4 times 1/2. And just like before, I'm just going to multiply straight across. So 13 times 1 is going to be 13. And 4 times 2 is going to be 8. So I have 13 over 8. And in the event that they ask you to switch into a mixed number, remember that we're just going to divide. So when I divide, my numerator becomes a number that goes on the inside. And then my denominator goes on the outside. So I'm going to have 8 here. So 8 goes into 13 one time. I'm going to subtract this here. And I know 13 minus 8 is going to be 5. Right? So here, this is my whole number. And then that giant circle, where my remainder is going to be my numerator, and my 8 right here, that's going to be my denominator. So if they were to ask me to switch it into a mixed number, I would get 1 and 5 over 8. Okay, so that is when we take a mixed number and we multiply it by a regular fraction. Now, the last type that we're going to go over is when we take a whole number and we multiply it by a fraction. So if we were to get this, then what I would get an example would be 6 times 4 ninths. Now notice that 6 is a whole number, but I need it to be a fraction. So the way that we turn 6 into a fraction is by putting it over 1, because any whole number can be a fraction if you put it over 1, right? So now I'm going to multiply the fractions by doing the same thing I did before, by multiplying the numerators together and then multiplying the denominator together. So 6 times 4 is going to be 24, and then 1 times 9 is going to be 9, right? So again, that gives me this improper fraction. So if it allows you to keep it as an improper fraction, you're going to leave it as an improper. But if they ask, they say, okay, you know what? We want you to put it inside of a mixed number. Okay, you just do division. So here is 24 on the inside, 9 is on the outside. 9 goes into 24 2 times. I'm going to subtract 18 because 9 times 2 is going to be 18. And I am going to have to borrow, and this will be 14. So when I subtract that 14, I'm going to go ahead and get 6. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So in here, I get 2 and 6 ninths. So 2 and 6 ninths. And I could even simplify this even more, because 6 over 9 can be simplified by dividing by 3. The 2 is not affected whatsoever. And I can divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. So I would get 2 and 2/3. So this right here would be the final answer because it's simplified all the way to lowest terms. Okay, technically 2 and 6 ninths would be correct, but you want to be careful because this one is this 2 and 2/3. That's the one that is in lowest terms. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example, and you're going to go ahead and do this. The video will pause, and after that we'll come back together once you answer the question, and we will review it. So I need you to do 7 times 3 over 4. Okay, so again, we're going to put this over 1 so that we can turn it into a fraction. And now that I'm multiplying straight across with my numerators and my denominators, what I get is 7 times 3 is 21, and 1 times 4 is going to be 4. So if I want to leave it as an improper fraction, I'm going to leave it as 21 over 4. But if they ask me to turn it into a mixed number, I'm just going to divide. So that 21 goes inside the box, this 4 goes on the outside, and then 4 goes into 21 5 times. So then under here I'm going to put 20 because 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm going to subtract, I'm going to get 1 as the remainder. So this right here is going to be my whole number, and I'm going to do this giant circle here where the 1 is the remainder, which moves my numerator, and this 4 is going to be my denominator. So here I have 5 and 1/4. And that would be the final answer. Okay, guys, so this video or this review of basic multiplying fractions is finished. But these are the assignments that I want you to do, okay? So what's going to happen is you're going to go into your class, and I want you to go to modules. So this is my modules opened up. I'm gonna click this one more time. The module that you need to go to, it's gonna be a little bit different this time. You're gonna go to the module that is labeled Tiny House Project. Okay, there's gonna be a couple things added here. This is where you're gonna get this video, but you're gonna go to Tiny House Project. And Tiny House Project is gonna have several things for you to do. But the thing that I need you to do for today, after this video, is gonna be multiplying fractions 1. And I also need you to do multiplying fractions 2. So again, since you were finished with this video, you're gonna do multiplying fractions 1, and you're gonna do multiply fractions 2. And the second, there's gonna be a question that's gonna ask you what assignments you need to do after this particular video. After you're finished with multiplying fractions 1 and multiplying fractions 2, there will be another video that is there for you that will be reviewing the second part of multiplying fractions, specifically word problems, and then you complete the third assignment. Okay, so remember, if you have any questions, I am here. You can go back to the Teams meeting and you can ask me any questions that you need to. Okay, thank you guys.